Welcome to the Dr. Tom Show. Today, I'm very excited to have a very special person on the show who's got a story to share that is going to inspire, I know, countless people. And if there is, I'm going to say it now, if there's something from today that you know could change somebody else's life, please do share this episode. They say that life begins at 40, but for Sue, it began at 50. Reversing diabetes, becoming fitter, healthier, and happier, she now holds the nickname Ninja Sue. Welcome to the Dr. Tom Show.
Ah, thank you.
It's great to have you here, and I'm really excited to get into your story. But I suppose the first question is, when did you decide the time is now to do something about your health? Where did that come from?
Um, Many years ago, actually, after my divorce, the year after that, I literally sat down, drank myself silly, and ate all my daughter's chocolates, and literally put a ton of weight on. And this was 2017, and I thought I've got to do something with it. So I went to Slimming World, and I did that for 2 years. And then a good friend of mine said, "Why don't we try keto?" Because it wasn't working for us. We had lost weight. I'd lost 2 stone, but I was bored and just didn't feel it anymore. So we dabbled into keto in the November. So I cut out the pasta, the rice, potatoes, and bread, which was easy. Even though I loved rice and I loved pasta, it was an easy swap to do. And then Christmas came, indulged.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing Day came, and I thought if I see another sausage roll, I might just kill myself. So I literally went through my fridge and binned loads of food. I went, it's going, I can't look at it anymore. And then in January, I thought, okay, this is it, we'll start. And me and my friend, we dabbled in it, joined a few of the Facebook groups, but of course they're all American. And I think it must have been early March last year. I put a post up of a stew that I'd had because I like posting my food. And in the stew that serves probably 4 people, I used a carrot. And of course, there was a carrot in the picture. And I got ridiculed because that's not keto. And I thought, hang on a minute, there's worse things you can eat than a carrot. And then a friend from the keto world, Michelle, found me and said, come over here.
Mm.
And she directed me to Keto Fitness Club. And I suddenly thought, oh my God, it's an English company. It's a family run company. The ethos is suddenly, whoa, hang on a minute. They want to help us. They're not going to, degrade you and say, oh, you can't have that. You can't have that. So I went through my Facebook page and I deleted so many groups. I thought, no, I'm not interested. And that's when I found Mark and Ella. And it's Mark, Ella, and Louis. He's the son, though he's still at school. Well, he's just left school now. But and the 2 dogs, Archie and Coco. Can't forget the boxers.
Mm-hmm.
And as it revolutioned my world, it really did. My life turned 360 degrees literally overnight. They've got a
Wow.
website, YouTube, because I went on the website and I looked at the recipes and I thought, my God, it's it's an English recipe. I can follow it. It doesn't have American ingredients. They're easy, they're achievable, and they're really tasty. And I thought, you don't have to spend 6 hours in the kitchen to get a meal at the end of it. They're quick and easy. And so I joined up literally as lockdown happened. I was on the first digital Zoom that they did called Kick. And it was Mark telling us all about the keto and what you can't do, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, this is achievable. You can do this. And I thought, okay, I'm a very quiet person until you get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite shy, though some people will disapprove, but I am. And so I dabbled and I posted all my pictures and stuff like that. And I interacted and I got on really well with them. And I made some good friends who are like family now. And in the April, I was on a Zoom and we were talking about fasting. And I thought, it's embedded into your head, 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, from when you can first remember your mum telling you, you've got to have 3 meals a day. And then suddenly someone's saying, but you can fast. I'm like going, okay, I'm interested. So then I suddenly cut breakfast out. So I wasn't eating till lunchtime. And I thought, this is achievable. This isn't rocket science. This is really easy to do. As long as you're eating the right things in the first place and drinking plenty of fluids, it's a doddle. And I did find it a doddle. So I was doing 18-6 fasts. And then I went to 24. And then I thought, oh, sod it, let's try 45-hour one. So I did.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, this is okay. So I went to a 61. And then I did a 5-day one. And I felt brilliant. And it was like weight lifted off your shoulders, because you suddenly thought, and you've got people around you saying, oh, but that's dangerous. You must eat. You must eat. And I'm thinking, do I look like I'm starving? Do I look like I'm a size 0? Because trust me, I'm not. And then you suddenly start thinking about things. And people say, actually, when you're not eating, your liver is actually celebrating, because it's not having to deal with what's going into your stomach plus what you've got. It can just concentrate on what you already got. Let's face it, all of us have stored fat somewhere, unless you're size 0. So it's like giving yourself a break. And it really did change the way I thought of things. And that's when I suddenly thought, this was April, May time, and I thought, can I reverse my diabetes? I'm 50 this year. And I thought, when I put my mind to something, I put my mind to it. And I thought, sod it. I'm getting rid of it by the time I'm 50. That was my goal. I also ran a 5K, did couch to 5K. I've got 2 metal knees, and my brain has always said, you can't run. You've got 2 metal knees. You're not allowed to run. But I sat down one night and I thought, okay, I want to do it, because I was really jealous, because I thought, if you run, you lose a lot of weight. And I thought, I'm no Mo Farah, and I never will be. I'm not going to do it every day, and I'm not going to kill myself. And I said to myself, if my knees start hurting me, I can stop. So I did it, and it was fine. Okay, the first minute I ran, more of a shuffle, but it's still quicker than my walking. I thought, oh, can't do this. And I thought, oh, I'm going to have to repeat week 1 and week 2. But I never did. I just ploughed on and I did it. It took me a bit longer to get the 5K in done, but I did it. And it was a massive achievement. But I'd had diabetes since I was pregnant. So it was like 14 and a half years. And when you're diagnosed, especially back then, I don't know what it's like nowadays, and I hope to God it has changed. It's like, there's your tablets, get on with it.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Have some biscuits in your bag, have those dextrose in your bags, just in case you go hypo. Take a load of those and you'll be fine. Have plenty of carbs. But the thing is, the carbs do that to your blood sugars. They spike it. The absolute worst thing. Everyone is pre-diabetic. But some people can deal with the insulin better than others, so they can have the carbs. But there's an awful lot of people out there who can't deal with it and are literally going to end up on a lot of medication. And I was what was called a good diabetic. I ate what I wanted. I ate loads of chocolate and I just took my tablet. Did I take my blood sugars? No, I couldn't be bothered, because I thought, I've got a tablet that will sort it out. And that was my mindset. And then last year I suddenly thought, no, sod this. I want my life back. I want to be off my medication. My asthma, I only get if I have a real bad cold, which, touch wood, since keto, I haven't had a sniffle. And I thought, no, I'm doing this. And literally the Friday before my birthday, I got the news that my liver function was excellent. My cholesterol was 4.6, I think. So she was very happy with that. And to be pre-diabetic, you need 2 years running under 48. Well, the year before I'd had 45 on my HbA1c. And I thought, early 40s and I'll be happy. I scored 36. I literally smashed it out the window.
Wow.
And that's why, oh, emotional, it gets me. Because literally I've gone to the diabetic world and stuck 2 fingers up at them and said, you know what? I'm sorry, but you're not getting any money out of me, out of the medical profession for me, because you know what? My lifestyle, and it's not diet, my lifestyle means I'm diabetic free.
I'm so glad you just said lifestyle there, because you mentioned a
It,
couple of times the mind
yeah,
as well as the
mm,
food. Um,
it's the whole package.
and the consequences of people not doing this is a lifetime of medication that doesn't fix anything and just prolongs suffering,
Mm,
essentially.
yeah,
What
and we
what was
see it all the
diabetes
time.
looking like for you? What was it looking like for you? Like your long-term prognosis? Were you worried about it? Were you
Oh,
scared about it?
I hadn't really thought about it because I was just taking a tablet.
Mm,
I was on injections, but the year before I took myself off them. They weren't insulin based, but they were an injection of, and I'd managed with Slimming World to get off them.
hmm
But until then, it was just like diabetic. Yeah, so what? Get on with it.
And I think the easy option is to get on with it. But like you
Mm,
said, and when you started dabbling with keto, it seemed difficult. But then you met these people at Keto Fitness Club, and you realized actually it's not that difficult.
it is.
Um,
It's just proper food.
I mean, tell us what your day, what is keto, and what does your typical day of food look like?
Okay, well, there's three things that we eat: carbs, protein, and fat. And out of those three, you only need two. You don't need to eat the carbohydrates.
Hmm
So we keep them to the minimum. Yes, we all way up, stray occasionally. It's called life. Things happen. But I concentrate on protein and good protein. So I always have like drumsticks in my fridge to chew on at lunchtime if I feel peckish, or thighs, something like that. Proper meat, fish, eggs. We love eggs. My door in my fridge is called my dairy. It's cheese and milk. Well, milk alternative. It's literally just cheese and butter.
Yeah.
Um, and then you get your carbohydrates from like your leafy vegetables. You stay away from sweet potatoes, sweet corn. It's in the name. It's the big clue. Um, Butternut squash, yes, you can have, but you don't have it every day. It's like a little treat. Swede are higher carbs, but you don't have that every day. If you stick to your leafy greens, then they're much lower, your cauliflowers, your broccolis, things like that, then you're better off. But you always start your plate with protein, then you add your your vegetables, and then your fat is what you cook your protein in. That's where you get your fat source from. You don't have to smother it with a cream and cheese sauce every time, which, trust me, when you start keto, you think, oh, cream, cheese, yes, oh, slap it everywhere. But you get over that bit.
Yeah.
You get past that. I mean, I've literally just had first thing to eat now, and that was seed crackers with some Philadelphia on.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I've eaten today.
And as we're recording this, it's nearly midday. Yeah.
Yeah. In the mornings, I have a coffee with a little bit of cream in. I don't, again, when you first start, you think, oh, lots of cream, but you don't. 10 mils of cream is plenty. And then I've had a cup of tea at work and your trusted bottle of water
Good. That's what I want to see.
with pink salt in. You've got to have your
Yeah,
electrolytes.
Himalayan salt's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's don't you find it's amazing when you change your diet, your taste buds change, don't they?
Oh,
So if
yeah,
you did have that
definitely.
butternut squash, it's sweet, like
Sweet. Oh,
really
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. Mm. I
Um,
mean, I do have a sweet tooth, but it didn't. If I want a pudding, I've reduced it down to three things. So some berries and a little bit of cream, or a jelly with granola, homemade granola on, or a lava cake. We do a 1 minute lava cake, chocolate lava cake.
mm,
But that's good protein source because it's got cocoa powder in.
I love it. So it is simple for people to achieve this stuff.
Mm.
If you could speak to Sue, what do you say, 14 years, like 12 years ago, a couple of years into your diagnosis, what would you say to her?
You can get out of this.
And
I
if she said
mean,
it's too difficult, I've got a 2-year-old.
but it isn't. I mean, my daughter, she doesn't do keto. So I don't say she can't have X, Y, and Z.
Mm,
But actually, she doesn't eat as much of the carbs as she used to. Though I'm not forcing it onto her because we did have a discussion. And I said to her, if I go back to that, I'm going to be very, very ill and on meds. and my life is too important to me to do that. So I don't deny her, but she'll eat the main meal. So last night we had meatballs. I had a salad. She had a little bit of pasta with it,
Yeah.
but they were homemade meatballs. It's easy to make and it's easy to adjust. People say, oh, but I've got family. I go, well, that's easy. You cook a normal meal that you would cook. You just don't have the carb bit.
Yeah.
Put a bit more vegetables on your plate. It can be achieved.
I think a lot of people,
They're scared.
they are scared. They're scared to make a
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
They're stuck, comfort is comfortable,
Mm.
but it's not good for our health.
Mm.
And I suppose you had a wake up or something that told you, actually, if you don't do something about this now, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Mm.
And I suppose there's the difference as well. There's this difference between weight loss and health, isn't there? Because there's people think they're the same thing and they're just not. You spoke about having lost weight with Slimming World, which, has its place and helps people get started, but it's not
It's
a
not
healthy, it's
sustainable.
not
It's not
healthy.
sustainable. No, it isn't healthy. And also, when we talk about keto, we say you're healing from the inside out. Weight loss, I call, is like a Brucey bonus. Yes, you will get it, but in different variations. Some people lose loads of weight, some people don't. I'm a snail. I lose very little weight, but I know inside I'm healing, and that's more important.
And it's the only way a human body heals is from the inside out. There's
Yeah.
nothing that we can take to heal it. I really like that concept of it, healing from the inside out, and you're gaining health, you're getting health, as opposed to losing weight. And if you just take those two words, would you rather get something or lose something? So if we always talk about losing weight, the psychology of that is actually, if we've lost something, we want to get it back. And that's why people yo-yo all the time with their things. And the other thing you mentioned earlier was not denying a treat. I think that's a really good idea, because that helps you stay on the track, does it not?
Yeah. Well, if you look at people who are on diets, they all have a cheat day. And it's usually weigh day as well. But they always say, oh, I've got to have a cheat day. Well, we don't, because we don't need it, because we don't deny ourselves anything.
Yeah.
We have our own bread, we have our own puddings, and trust me, they're good.
Yeah.
And our custard is just cream and eggs. Hello, get over that.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of a treat as well is interesting. I remember being a kid, and what was it, once every other week, we could walk to the shop and get a bar of Caramac. And that was the only bad thing we had an entire fortnight.
Yeah.
Whereas it's several things of those a day for people now. It's just, it's so far removed from what we're designed. What would your advice be to people who are thinking about trying? Like, where can they start? What can they do? What's their mindset, and what's their plate look like?
The way I started it is baby steps. That's how I think you succeed. If you do baby steps, you'll keep going. So I cut out the bread, the pasta, the rice, the potatoes. And this was in the middle of winter I did this. So I was still having stews and things like that. But I put steamed cabbage with it instead. Because if you think about it, what does pasta taste of? Nothing. It's the sauce that gives it flavor. Same as rice. It tastes of absolutely nothing. It's a filler. So we're having tastier meals by omitting the bland stuff.
Yes.
And that's how I started. And once you get your head around that, you think, okay, I can do this. Now let's see what I can do.
It's amazing. The baby steps are fascinating, and it is really easy for people to start. And I just want to remind people that we are talking about the fact you've reversed your diabetes, and all of us are pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
The biggest cause of illness is obesity, and that links into sort of pre-diabetes syndrome X. And the outlook for life is it's really scary, and people don't quite realize that. So huge credit to you for doing this and for telling people how to do it. What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite keto meal? Come on.
Probably probably something as simple as some butter fried salmon and some asparagus with it, or a nice juicy steak with some fried eggs on the side.
It's
Yeah,
simple, but
it's
like we said, when the
simple.
taste buds change, it's amazing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It is
And you see,
amazing.
the protein and the fat keep you fuller for longer. It's the carbohydrates that make you go up and down, and then you're hungry again. If you don't have them, then you actually eat a lot less because you're eating better. I mean, also when we were younger, it was like, eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables. And now it's like, eat your protein, then your vegetables.
And people might be listening to this going, "Oh, that can't be healthy." I I take people to a study I read a long time ago, and they looked at the Inuit population, so the people who live in igloos up on the in the North
Yeah,
Pole. Indigenously, what do they eat? They eat blubber, fat,
yeah,
whale blubber, and fat and blubber.
yeah.
And they had no incidence of
Mm,
heart disease, cancer, or acne until the introduction of sugar into their diet.
mm.
It is a healthy way for the human body to eat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like someone on the radio the other week said, you don't see a lion going out for a kill and saying, "Oh, hang on a minute, I've just got to stop and have something to eat, a gel pack or something, because, so I can go for that kill." No, they're going for the kill to get the meal.
Yeah,
They don't need to stop.
yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. If we eat too much, we're eating with food that's delivered to us instead of us having to go out and get the food or
Yeah,
expend energy to get the food, which is why
mm,
you mentioned earlier, it's not just a diet, it's a lifestyle.
yeah.
So if we think about that and we take diet, we go, okay, I've got the keto diet. I really want to change things. What else do I need to think about in my life? What other advice would you give to people on that?
Well, another important aspect is movement. Now, that goes in all sorts of levels. We have quite a few members who can't walk very well, but they go on the exercise Zooms and they do it from their armchair.
Great.
We've got members who just go for a walk every day, and they've done really well. You've got to move. If you're a couch potato, you're not going to get anything.
And this is
But you don't have to go for a 10K run every day to achieve it.
I agree, and I like the way you've called people out and said if you're a couch potato, because this is not an ultra athlete sitting on the other line telling you this.
No,
You've been through the journey yourself. You have 2 metal knees. You've lost 2 stone in weight. Like, it's real. Like
yeah,
it's real.
yeah.
Um, and I suppose the mindset you've got of like, right, I'm in control.
Mm.
I think
There's an awful lot in your mindset, and we have a guy, Ian, who comes on a Monday evening, and it's the only Zoom that isn't recorded, and he's a transitional coach, and he's amazing. Carol just gets you to think of life differently, and if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want, and you really can, but you've got to be in the right frame
mm,
to
so
do it.
so true. So if you could give our audience one piece of advice to help them make a change, what would it be?
Have a look at yourself and think, where will you be in 10 years if you don't change anything?
Wow. Let that sink in for people.
And that can be a really scary thought. If you think 10 years' time, like 14 years ago, I never thought I'd be like this today. I was going downhill. I wasn't going uphill, I was downhill.
Remarkable.
But also, if you've got kids, I want to be there for my daughter. I want to be able to enjoy her when she has kids of her own. I want to be able to enjoy the grandkids if she does, and 70 isn't old nowadays. 60 is definitely not old. But if I hadn't changed my way of eating, I'd be lucky if I could do anything.
So you're such an inspiration to a lot of people, whether you know it or not. Um, And I've said again, if you're listening to this recording and you know someone who could benefit from it, don't wait till later. Just stop the recording, send it to them now, because it really will make a difference to their lives. Before we end, you're not getting away with it. Why are you called Ninja Sue?
And it's all right, I don't have a blackout, but on the group in the members events, we do a ninja cooking session on a Thursday evening, and I've done some little demos how to start up cooking with a ninja foodie. It's on their YouTube channel, and the nickname just came Ninja Sue.
Love it.
But it's the associates that do it, so there's 5 of us that we all take turns cooking every Thursday evening. It's great fun, and yeah, it's just my nickname that's stuck.
I love it. This sounds like a brilliant group. So for those who are listening who think, actually, you know what, I want to see what this is all about and see how I can change, where can they find out more?
It's Keto Fitness Club on Facebook. It's the public group. There's also the website, and it is free. You do not have to become a member if you do not want to. You have access to the recipe library, infographics on the website, lots of information, helpful information, videos, etc. And there's hundreds of recipes. It's not like 4 or 5, there are over 300. And a fantastic community. In the public group, there's over 12,000 people. In the members group, it sticks around 500. But it's like a huge family. We are like a family. We've also got a YouTube channel as well, and we're on Instagram.
Perfect. Well, I'll put the links to those in the show notes and people can go and find out more. Sue, thank you very much for taking the time with us today. It's been brilliant. I've learned a lot. You're kind of calling me to account a little bit here, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
And the listeners, I know, have got so much from it. So thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me.